Building bigger shoulders doesn't require flashy exercises or hitting your delts from extreme angles. In fact, the classic movements you're already doing are often the most effective. The key, however, lies in selecting the best variations of these exercises to maximize muscle activation while keeping your joints healthy for long-term progress. And that's exactly what I want to share with you in this video: the 5 best shoulder exercises for men over 40 who want to build bigger delts without the worry of aches and pains. But before we can train our shoulders optimally, we must first understand some basic anatomy. The deltoids are divided into 3 heads: the front or anterior delts, the side or lateral delts, and the rear or posterior delts. The front delts flex the shoulder, the side delts abduct the shoulder, and the rear delts extend the shoulder as well as externally rotate them. As you can probably tell, no single exercise can hit all 3 heads effectively. Thus, we'll need a bit of variety in our shoulder training. While you're likely already performing the right type of movements, maximizing your shoulder training will come from choosing the most optimal variations of these exercises. Variations that accomplish a few things. They maximize tension through a full range of motion, they allow for consistent progression, and they prioritize stability to protect your joints. Now, with that out of the way, let's jump into the 5 best shoulder exercises for men over 40. Exercise number 1. Seated Smith machine shoulder press. The Smith machine provides unmatched stability thanks to its fixed bar path. This reduces the demand for stabilizer muscles, allowing you to direct all your energy into the delts. Unlike free weights, where balance and technique can limit your performance, the Smith machine lets you train closer to true muscle failure. And according to this study, training to failure is an essential trigger for muscle growth. The question then becomes, why a seated variation versus standing? According to this study, seated overhead pressing allows you to lift about 10% more weight compared to standing presses. This directs more growth-producing tension to the delts, making this variation even more effective for hypertrophy. And while the front delts are the primary movers, studies highlight that machine overhead presses also significantly activate the mid-delts. This study, for example, showed that seated barbell overhead presses activated the mid-delts almost as much as lateral raises. This is because pressing in the frontal plane combines shoulder flexion with shoulder abduction, making it a highly efficient way to stimulate both heads. So, the seated Smith machine shoulder press allows you to push more weight safely, push harder, and provide a great deal of tension for 2 of the 3 heads. Exercise number 2. Cable lateral raises. When it comes to building the side delts, few exercises are as effective as lateral raises. The problem with traditional lateral raises, however, is that they provide little to no tension in the bottom part of the range. Cables, on the other hand, allow for constant tension from start to finish. This results in greater load exposure, allowing the mid-delts to remain under tension for longer durations compared to dumbbell variations. And since the mid-delts are active throughout the entire range of motion, the constant tension of the cable makes it a superior variation. And if you want to make this exercise even more effective, try crossing your working arm in front of your body, beginning the exercise from a more stretched position. One big mistake most trainees make when performing lateral raise variations is lifting with their pinky higher than their thumb. Studies show that this hand position reduces subacromial space, increasing the risk of impingement. Instead, keep your hand in a neutral position, palms facing downward. An EMG study that compared internal, neutral, and external rotation during lateral raises confirmed that the neutral grip activates the mid-deltoids most effectively. The same study also compared lateral raises with the arm extended versus flexed at 90 degrees. They found that keeping your arm straighter during lateral raises increases the moment arm, leading to better side delt activation. This allows you to effectively stimulate the muscle without relying on heavy weights, thus less wear and tear on your joints. Exercise number 3, reverse pec deck flies. The reverse pec deck is one of the most effective exercises for isolating the rear deltoids. By bracing your chest against the machine, you ensure that all the force generated by the weight is directed into the posterior delts. In fact, this study shows that reverse pec deck flies achieve roughly 90% muscle activation in the posterior delts. And this study examining shoulder extensors reveals that the posterior delts gain significant leverage for shoulder extension when the arms are at and above shoulder height. Thus, the reverse pec deck positions your arms in the optimal range, allowing you to maximally engage the rear delts. For best results with this exercise, start by adjusting the seat so your shoulders align with the handles. From there, take a neutral grip, as studies show that a neutral grip enhances rear delt activation more than other grips. And as you perform the reverse fly, focus on sweeping the handles outward as you extend your arms rather than just pulling them back. These simple adjustments will give you a bigger bang for your buck when performing this exercise. Exercise number 4. Wide grip dumbbell upright rows. Wide grip upright rows hammer the lateral delts while bringing the traps into the equation for upper back density. While these can be performed with a barbell, fixed bars force your arms into a rigid, internally rotated position, which has been associated with shoulder strain and discomfort. In contrast, dumbbells adapt to your individual mechanics, reducing joint stress and enabling a smoother range of motion. Thus, this variation not only reduces joint discomfort, but also promotes a more efficient movement pattern. Research on grip width during upright rows found that as grip width increases, activation of the lateral delts improves significantly. This is because a wider grip aligns the humerus for pure abduction, minimizing the forward flexion required with a narrower grip. This adjustment not only enhances side delt activation, but also optimizes trap recruitment by encouraging scapular retraction at the top of the movement. To perform this exercise effectively, start by keeping your hands close to your body. As you row, think of pulling the dumbbells up and out to the side at the same time, not just straight up. By doing so, you'll avoid being too internally rotated, especially toward the top of the range of motion. And since impingement and pain often occur at higher degrees of shoulder elevation, pulling the dumbbells out to the side makes this variation much safer than the traditional upright row. And exercise number 5. Chest supported Y raises. Y raises are one of the best shoulder exercises you're probably not doing enough of. Unlike most lateral raises that peak at the lengthen or mid-range, the Y raise peaks at the shortened position, providing a unique stimulus for the middle delts. Not only that, but it also targets the traps, rhomboids, rear delts, and even the serratus anterior. These muscles all play a huge role in shoulder stability and proper scapular movement, especially when pressing and pulling heavy weights. So, by strengthening these muscles, you're not only improving your shoulder health, but also enhancing your overall lifting performance. To perform Y raises, set an incline bench to 45 degrees. From there, you'll simply raise your arms from straight down into a wide Y position until your elbows align with your ears. The key to Y raises is making sure you're working through the full range of motion without using momentum. In other words, if you can't get your arms overhead with control, then the weight is too heavy. Now, if you want to grow your shoulders but you're limited on time or equipment, then check out my video on the 7 dumbbell shoulder exercises you're not doing but should be. There, you'll learn science-based shoulder exercises you can do with nothing but a set of dumbbells. Did you find this video helpful? If so, click the like button below, as it'll truly help out the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more videos, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next one. Peace.